I am Xarkun and this is World of Warships Legends. You probably clicked on this video because you want help with the Wyoming, and that is what I am here to do. This video is primarily aimed at new players, and I'm taking a little bit of a different approach now than I usually do. What I usually do is record footage of full battles and do commentary after the fact on those battles, but I feel like teaching newer players the ropes, maybe it would be better to do live commentary. That is, commentary in one take as I am playing the game in order to sort of walk you through what's going through my head and also point out things to you right as they happen rather than trying to point out things after the fact. I think it might be a little bit more useful. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything you possibly need to know. I'm not even going to talk about the commander I'm using or the build I'm using. I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing in the Tier 3 American battleship Wyoming when I take it out into a game. I feel like a lot of players who start the game by heading toward this battleship, and maybe when they get to it, they have a little bit of a frustrating experience. So we're going to go into this battle. Hopefully it's a good one. We're going to talk about some basics of battleship play, and if this video is successful, maybe I will do more videos like this in this format on other lower tier ships, maybe lower tier cruisers, lower tier destroyers, any of those kind of things. We'll see. But for now, the Wyoming. Let's take it into battle. Hopefully the queue isn't... Okay, the queue is not long at all. We're loading into the battle instantly. Hopefully this will be a good battle, or at least an instructive one. Let's see. So we've loaded in because we're on the PlayStation 5, which is very fast. And as soon as we load in, we want to bring up the team roster, and we want to look at the team. Especially, you want to get to know all the ships you're facing. It's helpful to play all the ships you can possibly play so that you can learn their strengths and weaknesses firsthand. Primarily what we're looking for are the destroyers. We got Clemson, and we got the Tier 4 Pan-Asian destroyer, both of which I assume can torpedo us without us even seeing them. So they are the biggest threat to us. Meanwhile, we have spawned on this flank. Wow, I just sneezed there, so I had to cut that part out because it was very loud and obnoxious. We have spawned on this flank here, and we've only spawned with one other battleship and the enemy aircraft carrier. So this is, right off the bat, kind of risky. Ideally we want a destroyer to be on our side, and it looks like this destroyer is coming this way, so that's good. Note the blue circle on the minimap around our ship and the white circle on the minimap around our ship. The white circle represents the range of our guns. We see the Texas is sailing toward the inner part of that white circle, so we'll be able to have shots on him soon. And the blue circle represents our detectability. Now, if anything on the map is inside this blue circle, it can spot us, unless there's something like an island between us and that. So we're putting this island between us and this entire part of the map out here where the enemy team is likely to be, while the friendly aircraft carrier, that is, actually puts his planes up in the air and he spots. So we know there's a Texas, we know there's the Clemson, and we know there is the Omaha on this flank. Now we're going to come out in this gap, and we want to make sure we are not showing our flat broadside to the Texas. So initially I was going to turn in, but I think actually I am going to start turning out. We're spotted as we come around the island. That means the enemy destroyer, or some destroyer, actually we can see his last known location on the minimap. He is inside of that capture circle right now, and he is spotting us. So we want to turn away immediately. We do not want to go into this capture circle. If we sail into this capture circle, it will be very easy for that destroyer to torpedo us. So we're facing out of the capture circle. We see this cruiser. Actually, we noticed him a bit late coming around the corner there. Maybe we can shoot at him. This is why you want to be paying attention to the minimap at all times. You could easily miss an opportunity like this to shoot at a ship. And we do maybe get a decent shot on him. Destroyer is spotted. Turning our guns that way. In fact, yes, we do get a very good shot. We get a Citadel. The Citadel is what can happen when you shoot armor piercing at the broadside of a battleship, cruiser, or aircraft carrier. Not at a destroyer, but the other three classes, yes. And primarily we want to shoot at cruisers, partly because we are best suited to damage them, but also because the cruisers can pick apart our destroyer teammates as easily as we can pick apart the cruisers by citadeling them. Or even if we don't citadel them, we can do a lot of damage. But we do want to shoot at this destroyer too. Anytime you see a destroyer on the map, actually we probably should have not even shot at that cruiser and just shot at that destroyer because he's so close to our friendly destroyer that, well, he's the bigger threat. But now we can't see him. We are still spotted. We're on fire. Now we're not spotted. That means the cruiser's behind the island. The Texas can't see us through the smoke screen, but the destroyer must have either come around here or the cruiser has come around. The cruiser has come around. The destroyer's still behind the smoke screen. That battleship is shooting us, but we've got our bow, or stern rather, pointed toward him, so it's going to be difficult for him to damage us too much. Alright, now we're lit on fire twice. So at this point, we're going to use the damage control and stop the fire. You really never want to use the damage control on one fire. You want to wait until you got more fires. Fires do damage over time, and they can do a lot of damage over time if you get lit on fire consecutively over and over again. But, okay, the destroyer has been dispensed with. So this flank is actually alright now. And we are actually going to head this way. We do not care about this Texas at all. He is completely irrelevant to this game. He is sailing very far away. Take a look at my positioning on the map. I'm not quite in the center of it, but I'm close to the center. And these American battleships, they're very, very slow. So is the Texas. But I have shots on this Wyoming out here, actually, so I'm going to take this shot. But the Texas, he's not going to have shots on anybody. You really want to pay attention to where you are going in these low-tier American battleships. If you commit too far to one flank or another, it's going to take you a very, very long time to get back to a place where the action is happening. So now it's not going to take us too long to get to the center of the map at all, and that right now is our goal. We've got this enemy Wyoming out here pushing out. We've got this Karlsruhe out here engaging our Emerald, who appears to be AFK, so he's probably going to take down that Emerald, and we've got the Wyoming. So what I'm predicting will happen is the Wyoming, the Karlsruhe, and the last remaining enemy destroyer are going to want to take out this Wyoming, which they've done, and they're going to push this way. So we are going to be there to meet them. Meanwhile, we do have the matter of that. I think it was in Omaha over here. His last known location's right where I'm aiming. He's probably gone forward. I don't think he's turned around. We've got a destroyer there. He must have gone forward. He must be maybe right here, I would expect, or right here. Otherwise, I think this destroyer would see him, unless he comes around the corner and spots him somewhere inside this enemy cap. Looks like that destroyer is going for the Texas, which is whatever, it's fine. It's a Matsuki. So we still have one destroyer alive. It's going for the aircraft carrier, so that's interesting. So the best thing we can do is try to affect this side of the map with the Karlsruhe and the Wyoming. The only problem is the other enemy destroyers over there, but he must be going after that battleship. We can't even see the battleship. We see the blue battleship on our mini-map, but he's too far away for us to actually spot him with our eyes. So, oh, we're not going at full speed. It would help if we did that. Full speed isn't exactly fast on this. There's the Omaha. Can we shoot him? He's been spotted by our destroyer teammate. I think we can. He's turning. Gonna try to account for that. I don't think we're actually gonna... Yeah, we get one hit, but nothing special. Alright. What's this Wyoming doing? He's sailing toward the edge of the map. These guys are in a chase on that battleship, so they're not going to push this way. They're going to push that way. No matter. We are still coming to this side of the map, and that's still where we're going. The Omaha takes out the destroyer that was going for the carrier, so not a lot of good that did. Karlsruhe in trouble, slowing down. I think he was slowing down. Yep. Not exactly the best shot. Sometimes they're just going to be that way. You do have to deal with a lot of random chance in terms of where your shells go when you play a battleship. That's just how this game works. Karlsruhe goes down. Okay, so we have 5 ships left, and they have 5 ships left. We still have 1 destroyer. He is capping that cap and torpedoing the aircraft carrier, who is pushing straight into him. We're mostly concerned about where is the enemy destroyer. He is not in front of us. If he were, I think we would be spotted right now. And he's right over here. Notice we're spotted by the plane. If you get spotted on the surface of the sea, it will show an eyeball. And if you're simultaneously being spotted by a plane and by a ship on the surface of the sea, it will not show the plane. It will only show the eyeball. So that is how you can know you're being spotted by a destroyer versus, you know, a plane or something else. Alright, so we do hit that destroyer. It has caused us to turn broadside to this Wyoming, which is not ideal. We don't want to present the broadside of our ship to enemy battleships ever. They can do a lot of damage to us that way, but that Wyoming was not paying attention. And actually, I was going to turn to point my bow in toward them, but instead, I'm going to turn and point my stern in toward them, which is going to allow this Wyoming to get a shot on my broadside. Going to engage the heel. That's not ideal, but I don't want to push into that destroyer. I don't want to sail toward him. It would not be a winning move. It would make it much easier for him to torpedo me, whereas if I sail away from him, he'll have a much harder time. Now, he's probably sailing straight toward me now, but actually he has to be still quite close to where the Wyoming is, because you see, we just lost sight of the Wyoming, and sight was completely lost to us. If the destroyer was over here, he'd be seeing us, but he's not, so he must be behind this island with the Wyoming still. Now, there's the Wyoming. He's shooting high explosive at me. Take a look at the results he gets. And I was going to say compare them to the results I got, but only 2 of my shells hit. In any case, those 2 shells that I sent at him, I'm sure did more damage to him than his high explosive did to me. When you start playing battleships, just switch to the armor piercing. Don't even bother with the holy crap high explosive. Alright, so this destroyer is suicide torpedoing us. We're going to take very careful aim and delete him. We're not going to use our damage control, though, because he's torpedoed us. I know he has. There they are. Try to turn out of the way and only take 1 if possible. Alright, we took 1. We're flooding. Now we use our damage control. We didn't use our damage control because of the fire, because we knew torpedoes were coming, and torpedoes, of course, are likely to make us flood. And, of course, we don't want to flood. That will kill us much faster than a fire will. So we waited to use our damage control there to take care of both the fire and the flood. I think we're going to continue sailing away from this Wyoming. I don't really feel like there's too much of a point in trying to delay this and engage him. We only have 3 minutes left. I don't think that Texas is going to go down, and neither is our carrier, so I don't think we're in danger of losing this game. In fact, I think we will win it, but going this way going past this gap in the island, I think we're going to be able to get shots on the carrier, maybe sink him, maybe pick up the Omaha as well. There's the carrier. Of course, the carrier we don't have to worry about being broadside to, because it's not like he's got guns. We get one shot, and that's enough to dev strike him, as my good friend T-Bull would say. He gone. Alright, so the Wyoming, we can take him out too. And then, or not the Wyoming, the Omaha. We don't care about the Wyoming at all, honestly. In some sense, battleships are the last thing you want to shoot at for various reasons, but this Omaha is so much easier for us to take out. Whoops. Oh, come on. Was that poor aim on my part? That might have been poor aim on my part. How anticlimactic. He lit us on fire once, that Omaha. Again, we didn't use our damage control, but we would have just used it there if the game hadn't ended, because we got lit on fire twice. So, fairly mediocre damage total. 68,000 damage, not impressively high. Second on the leaderboard behind the Matsuki, which is fine. I think this was a pretty good game, and I think there were some good tips in it. So let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and perhaps I can make more videos like this in the future. Let me know what you think, and until next time, goodbye.